As mentioned, with me via telephone, all the way from the UK, is a singer that, believe it or not, I got to know before his career. Comes to me very often where I know singers that I've been listening to for years. But in the last 10 years, it's a lot of singers that I've got to know before their career started. This is one of them. A young gentleman from the UK called me up once. He was considering putting out an album. He wanted to know a single. We were talking producers. And here we are a few short years later, and he has 2 solid albums. Just released his second one. Yavo Shalom, please welcome to the program the one and only Eitan Freilich.
Good afternoon, Yossi.
Is it evening in London yet? Or?
It's evening in London. It's afternoon for you, so we're sort of in between.
You know, the fact that it gets dark so early, for me, it's like evening after lunch already, even though it's not like dark. But, you know, imagine what it's like. You come home from shul and it's barely 6 o'clock and you're like, I have to stay awake till like 10:30, 11 in order to get a normal night's sleep. I just want to go to sleep as soon as I get home already. It's like dark.
No, that's true. But you know, it's been a good day for me when it's dark when I start work and it's light when I finish work. So for me, it's a little bit different.
Very well said. So Eitan Freilich with us via telephone just released his second album. And he's doing quite well. First album was released back in 2016. 2 years later, Yavo Shalom, a brand new 11-track album featuring one single previously released, Lahodes L'cha, which did very well for you. Eitan, what kind of response are you getting from the fans thus far?
It's unbelievable. I was just thinking now, 2016, it wasn't even that long ago with the first album. But it's just been like a roller coaster, you know. It's been absolutely amazing. Very different feedback. It's like a matured feedback. Like the album, I feel, is a matured version as well. And it was sort of a work of art for me because I sort of got to put in. You'll see the producers. There's like four producers involved,
right?
And it was sort of a lot of my own concepts involved in the album. It was very much, it's very much my work there. So I'm very like happy, and it's like very happy and honored that I was able to have some input into some of the songs and the ideas as well.
Right. So let's talk about producers. We got a question from Chicago from Rachel. She said the first album was produced by Avi Newmark. You know, what made you change? Yeah. What made you change tracks, so to speak? On your credits page, it says album produced by Eitan Freilich, Jan Frater, and Louis Hersaft. So obviously there wasn't a fight or anything. But what made you decide to switch tracks?
No, not at all. I still speak with Avi. Mm-hmm. We spoke about doing the other album, and then the direction I wanted to go was slightly different. And Srudi Maya came along and he produced Lahodes L'cha.
Right.
And I was really, really happy with Lahodes L'cha, as I am with the last album. And I asked him to produce one more song. Started with a single, as it always does, Yossi.
Right.
And then after that, just people were sending me the songs, and not any producer. They were sending them directly to me. And I heard one or two other songs, like Eretz Yisrael by Eli Schwab. I really liked it when I heard it.
Right.
And I just said, I like this song. I want it on the album. And it was like sort of a nice feeling not having to go to ask anyone. And I sort of just decided that myself. And and then after that, I sort of had lots of concepts and lots of ideas. And I was in America in January.
Right.
And I met with Yitzi Wilner and Eli Schwab and countless other composers. And we sort of sat together and I told them my concepts, and together we sort of worked on what most of the album became, to be honest. I remember Paid in Full, which was the song we released around Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur time.
Right.
That sort of came up because I said to them, I've got this amazing story that I had. I want to put it into a song, and that sort of just happened there and then. So all these different concepts and ideas that I wanted just sort of fell into place. So it just never came up that we would have a producer. It sort of Srudi produced 2 of the songs on the album. My friend Louis Hersaft produced another 2 of the songs on the album, and it was sort of mix and match throughout the album, but sort of all is uniform in the end because my style seems to be a lot of old style songs with a new modern sort of tinge to it.
Right. I got to tell you, speaking of Paid in Full, a lot of people wrote into the show after the song was released and we played it saying how much they enjoyed the song, the message, how the lyrics worked. It wasn't kind of cheesy. A song like this can get very cheesy very easily with just rhyming lyrics. Am I right?
Welcome to the Jewish music world. I mean, that's what it's about. The more cheese, the better it goes. But no, we tried not to make it too cheesy. We tried not to, but ultimately, it's not the standard pop song. It's a Jewish meaningful song, and with sort of a clear message to it. And we tried to make it as tasteful and as beautiful as we could. That was Miriam Israeli's work, and let me tell you, she spent hours and hours of work on that one.
Well, it definitely paid off, and people are really enjoying it. You mentioned before Louis Herzaft. So you're one of the producers. Well, you're the singer, of course. You're involved. Jan Frater, of course, was involved with the last album because of Avi Newmark. So
he was. I mean, Jan. I tell you what he did. There's a song. I mean, we're literally. I love this. This is a very cool interview because we're like jumping around.
Right.
Yavo Shalom. Yavo Shalom.
The title
basically
track.
only happened. Yeah, it only happened because of Jan. Because me, I basically was sitting there and I said, Ari Goldwag wrote some lyrics for me with Yavo Shalom. I asked him, I want a song about peace. There's so much anti-Semitism and prejudice and hate and loads of hurtful things in the world, but also in our communities and locally. And I said, I want to write a song, more addressing sort of this, that, we very much focus on anti-Semitism, which is extremely, unfortunately, topical in America, but it's also very topical here. And I said it's a very topical subject. It's very sad that we need to talk about it. But there's also, a lot of sinas chinam and hate between Jews. And if we can sort of solve that, if we can sort of, mend fights, mend any sadness, mend any bitterness between each other, then please God, in Yisrael Hashem, that will bring the final Geula and mend the entire world. And that was the sort of idea behind it. And we sat in the studio, and Jan came up and said, I've got this amazing beat, this background, like I put some chords together, I'm going to play it for you. So he played it for us. And then Yitzi Waldner went into the vocal booth, and he just started humming this tune. And we didn't have the lyrics yet, but he started humming it. He was like, shalom, shalom. He had like one or two words, and he was just humming it around. And that's literally how the song happened.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. It was meant to be. And then Miriam went and added the lyrics, and you literally got a recipe for a beautiful song.
That's amazing. So this song wasn't even created when you were finishing most of the other songs. This was kind of one of the last songs you chose for the album and ended up being a title track.
Exactly. I thought there's no, better title than Yavo Shalom. I mean, that's what it's about. That's what life is about.
Yeah, definitely about bringing peace, and definitely with what's going on in the world. You mentioned anti-Semitism in America. You guys, in the UK and especially in Europe, you've been singing a lot more than us in previous years. Now it's just coming to the forefront of us here in America and Canada. But it's definitely been escalating in the last few years, and hopefully we'll see a reprieve soon.
For sure, amen.
Eitan Freilich with us via telephone. We're discussing the release of his latest album, Yavo Shalom, in stores now, available through Niggin Music. Eitan, tell me, we were talking about this guy, Louis Herzaft. So Jan, you had a connection to, you have a connection to. Who is Louis Herzaft? Because this past summer, I was in Yerli Polchuk's studio, and he was playing me some choir that he did for Shir Lashem, and I was like, wow, that just like blew me away. And then he played me your vocal, the arrangement. I was like, this song is going to be big when it comes out.
No, that's like the $1 million question. Who is Louis Herzaft? And he is my musical director here in London. So when I go around singing, he manages the band, he sorts out the concerts, anything musical Louis touches. So that's basically his job. And he always said to me on the last album, I said to him, would you like to compose a song? And at the time, he was very new to the business, and he said, I'll try something. And it never really happened. And I said to him when the album finished, you've got 2 years now to work on the next song. and let me tell you, he spent 2 years working on it, and he came out with a masterpiece. So, sort of a lesson for us all. If we try, we'll get there.
I see you also helped Yitzi Waldner with the opening track of the album, which also I enjoyed very much. That's
true. That's the same session I was sitting with Yitzi, and we were working on Ivdu, and we were sort of on a FaceTime, all together, us three. And then Louis said, why don't we do the chorus, he said, why don't we do the verses like this, and then we'll do the chorus like you did, Yitzi. And that's sort of how Ivdu happened. Louis composed the verses, and Yitzi Waldner composed the chorus. And it sort of that's how it happened. They sort of co-composed it together.
Amazing. But something about Shir Lashem just grabs me. I mean, I know you used Yerli Polchuk and Zemir's choir on the album intermittently, some backing vocals. Yitzi did some, the choir did, but especially with this song, Shir Lashem, there's so much vibrancy and brightness, even with the English lyric. And I remember I asked Yerli, so did Eitan get you? He's like, no, we just, we did it on the spot. We wanted something English.
Literally, and that's what some of the best ideas always happen, just on the spot. And Yoli had that vision, and he felt the song was, as you said, so bright and vibrant, and that's exactly what we wanted, like a happy, clappy, feel-good album, and I think that song was perfect, and it couldn't be more perfect for track 3.
No, definitely couldn't. Also, you were saying before that this album has a lot of like old school music with new arrangements. I feel that is definitely, very, very apropos for the first song. Ivdu has a very,
100%.
the way it starts off with like, the microphone a little bit like old school, and then it comes through very clear, but it has like an old school, almost like a 70s-ish sound bebop to it. And then, so you're not going the regular route, Eitan. You're not looking for the pop electronic sounds that everybody's doing today. You wanted to do something that would really stand out on its own.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I feel like there's room for everything, and there's room for everyone. And music, it tends to be very, very, very different, as in there's so many different styles and so many different genres, and I love this sort of genre. I love this style. For me, it works really well. It sort of started with Lahoda Sochar last year, that I sort of fell in love with it even more, and I sort of grew with that for this album. And I particularly, I love that old vibe, but I don't like the old vibe necessarily. I like the old vibe with a sort of modern flavor as well.
Well, I think you definitely accomplished that, and that's what I found unique about your album. There are a lot of albums coming out, especially now at Hanukkah time, and they're very much geared to very heavy EDM, electronic dance music, and beats and whatnot. And
for sure, which I have nothing against. I like it myself.
No,
you're right. Yeah, you're 100% right.
Eitan, back in the day, Lipa used to say when he was doing his albums, he did one for the fans and one for him. Meaning one was, more Hasidic, more what the crowd wanted to hear, and then he did one that was more creative musically and more electronic, more that he felt he wanted to do for himself, just to be creative. And the fact that you released this style of album in 2018, with the music updated, shows that, you're being true to who you are and to what you want to be, not just what people want to hear necessarily.
Thank you.
So I think that's very good. Eitan Freilich with us via telephone. We're talking about his brand new album, Yavo Shalom. Track 5, as soon as I heard it, I didn't even need to see the composer's name. Yom Zeh is a classical Ari Goldwag song. And
but Yossi, there's a whole story behind this song.
I actually don't. What is the story behind Yom Zeh?
Well, I actually totally forgot the story until I looked back at my WhatsApp with Ari. I was talking to Ari Goldwag. He composed Yom Zeh, as we all know, because you can just hear it's an Ari Goldwag song, as you said.
Right.
And I was talking to him, and then I looked back at my WhatsApp with him, and he's basically, I texted him, and I said to him, Ari, I really want a Zemer, because when I have people around for a Shabbos, and that's an invite to all of you in America, throughout the world, if you ever come to London, give me a call. You can come have a meal with us on Shabbos.
Oh, wow.
But my wife said to me, we want a Zemer for Shabbos, where we can sing it around the table. So I said to Ari, we need a Yom Zeh Yisrael. I wanted Yom Zeh Yisrael. For me, the words meant a lot, and I really wanted it. And literally, I think within 10 minutes, he WhatsApped me an audio with Yom Zeh, and it's not the Yom Zeh you hear today, so don't get too excited.
Okay, so it wasn't that easy.
It was a very similar Yom Zeh, and what happened was, I really liked the chorus he sent me, and I really liked the introduction he sent me. So I sent him a voice note back, and I said to him, Ari, any chance you can just try this, make the introduction the new verse, and keep the current chorus? And he said, you know what, I'm going to see if that will work. I'll see if I can make it work. And he texted me back, and he sent me a voice note, and that's exactly the Yom Zeh you hear today. A nice, simple, beautiful, elegant tune.
Uncomplicated. This is the one song that probably doesn't have that yesteryear sound or the yesteryear flavor you were talking about, but it's also not futuristic. This is like the yeshivish songs you used to hear on, I guess I would say Aish or the Vegas. It's very easy to pick up, very, very homey, and definitely.
And that's the idea. It's actually what you said. It's uncomplicated.
Right.
I found the original verse was too complicated, so we simplified it, and he did it. That's why I feel like he did the most fantastic job here at adapting it and doing exactly what you just said.
Interesting, Eitan. Very interesting. Now it's funny that you go from that uncomplicated, straightforward, what I call yeshivish hit, to track 6, Slow Down. I mean, I had to listen to the song so many times to try to figure out what I like.
Ambiguous.
Now tell me, Eitan, what was the whole idea and story behind this song? It is so different than everything else on the album. It's like a journey, but somebody took like a left turn and went really far down the road.
Yossi, it's the first time I've ever actually answered the meaning behind this song. It's wow. It was very, very personal to me. It's something that I really feel is very, very relevant to today, to right now. I was brought up by my mum always saying to me how in the old days, like even 40 years ago, they didn't have ATM machines, and they didn't have, email, and they didn't have all these different technologies that make the world faster.
Right.
And she said how if you ever wanted to take out money, you had to wait for the bank to open, and you went and took out money, or whatever it was. She was giving me different examples.
Right.
And she was saying to me, as a kid, like how you'd think that, life would get more efficient and it would get faster but more productive. And I would always speak to her about how less productive I feel it comes, because when you, instead of now, being more efficient, you're expected to reply even quicker to the next email. And there's like 100 emails sent. And in the old days, it used to be dealt with in about 2 or 3 letters. And people used to, value time better, and value time with family better. And every single time I sung on stage, and I still sing on stage at someone's wedding, and people get out their phones and they film the band, and I'm 100% okay with people filming the band and filming me singing. I'm 100% okay with that. But when it used to happen for about 30, 40 minutes and a whole dance set, and somebody filming me, I used to feel like, just put the phone away and dance for the chosn and kala, because that's what you're here for. That's what the mitzvah is about. That's what life is about. It's not about filming it through a screen. And that is how Slow It Down was born. A very deep song for me.
So you gave the concept to Ellie, and Ellie came out with this, unique beat, this unique, I don't know what to call it, Eitan. It's just so different.
It's a very like Beatles style song.
It is. I told him it reminded me of almost, I don't know if I said Beatles or maybe I said Michael Jackson style, like early Jackson, you know what I mean?
For sure. I was sitting in his house with him, and we had just composed Hashkena together, and that took about an hour or so, not that long, and it was more on the lyrics that we were working on than the tune. The tune was pretty easy to come up with for him, not for me. And then he asked me for a concept of the song, and I told him this whole concept, and don't worry, I took about an hour to explain it properly. Right. And then he literally just came out with this very interesting, very husky song, but it's a very different song to the normal.
Definitely. I can hear 3 or 4 of the mainstream singers saying, Ellie tried to send it to us, and, it wasn't really for us. And I was like, wow, I heard that. I definitely want that on my next album.
But Yossi Zweig produced the vocals for that song, and I remember him behind the glass. So I was like singing away and loving it. I was really into it. It was the last song we actually recorded the vocals to. Mm-hmm. So that was the last song. I finished on that song, and I was dancing away singing. And I'd never seen his face. He said, "If only all the songs you were like that on that song," because I was loving the vibe. I was loving the style. Yossi was like, if I had to choose a song, I would eat this song up any day. Wow. It was very funny.
Amazing. Eitan Freilich with us via telephone talking about his brand new album, Yavo Shalom. Now we're going to skip back just to track 2 because that's the one we missed. Hashkena, you said. Ellie just has something with slow songs that just, grabs you and pulls at your heartstrings, whether it's you, Yaakov Shweki, or Benny Friedman, or any of the other singers that he's sold to over the years. But something about the slow songs on this album, the way you sound, Eitan, I've never heard you sound this good. And that doesn't mean the first album wasn't good. It just means I think that you learned a lot in the process of recording your first album, and with Yossi guiding 100%. You in certain songs that when to go softer and just to let the words be heard without giving it all your power. And Hashkena definitely it shines through in that song.
Well, Yossi, firstly, thank you for the very, very nice compliment. I take that, with true honor. But you're right. I think everyone improves it over time. Everything is a sort of a improvement. And I worked on my sort of I wouldn't say talent, but I worked on my art for like 2 years. Every week, and I still do, because I think there's always something to learn. And and that's why I said before, it's a mature version, I feel, the album, because Mir Hashem, in a year's time when I work on the next single, I've already actually started working on 1 or 2 songs now. Oh wow! But each time I hope for it to be improved. I hope for the vocals, the music, the ideas, all to be a bit more mature as I go through life, because that's what it is. I try and sing from the heart, and I don't mean this to be cliche and all soppy and mushy, but I try and sing about things that matter to me, which is why it makes a difference to me and it means so much to me.
Well, you also have to remember, when you recorded Am Yisrael Chai, you were still a single bacher. Now when you're recording album,
I was.
You and Gabrielle are married, and you just welcomed babies into the world.
For sure. And I'm going to speak about it because I feel like it could be the elephant in the room, and I never want it to be the elephant in the room. But obviously we had twins born around 6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6 weeks ago actually, I think. 6 weeks ago yesterday, and unfortunately one of them did pass away last week. But we're very, very proud that we got to spend 5 weeks. 5 weeks, 5 amazing, gorgeous, precious weeks with him. We called him Avidan Yehuda because he was. Avidan means God is just, and God is definitely just, and Yehuda symbolizes strength. And so, we got to spend 5 beautiful weeks with him, and we're very proud that we were chosen to be his parents. He could have been anyone's parents, but we managed to be his parents of a beautiful neshama. And so this is life, and we have our eldest son who's still in hospital. We named him early before the bris, so that the davening is strengthened. And his name is Yossi Zweig Ben Shira Gittel. If you ever want to, if any of you listening would like to daven or do a good deed in his merit, and I've started working on some very heartfelt songs. Firstly, in merit of Avidan, but also for the strength of the Yossi Zweig. So I have actually, I spoke with Miriam last night, and I said, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do. This is all a massive shock to us, and I want to do something as an outlet. And she's in New York now, and we started working together on 1 or 2 songs, which I don't know if I'll ever release. Wow, but at least it's for me.
No, it's for you and for Gabriella, and definitely, we mentioned it a week or two ago, that our tefillos we're with you in our hearts. And I can only imagine what it's like. So I need to thank you before we go further on, for the interview. I know the album's important to you, and, you definitely want the album to do well, and it's your career. But, I don't know if God forbid anything like that happened to me, if I'd be able to actually talk on the air, just, change tracks, about it. On the other hand, maybe that's what's, helping you cope with it. And the fact that Baruch Hashem,
for sure.
The fact that Baruch Hashem, you still have,
I speak for Gabriella as well, Yossi, when I say that, I didn't even cancel simchas because, it's different halachas to the normal situation. And I said to Gabriella, and we both said to each other, that we're very happy for the 5 weeks. We're honored that we had them. And we don't stop simcha when we need simcha. We don't stop doing that. Right. And for me, speaking to you now it brings a smile to my face. It brings happiness to us all. And it happened to be that we were going to postpone the album actually being released. And Gabrielle actually said to me, we don't postpone Simcha, and this is when we need it the most. And she ended up being very right, because the CD, or the album itself, gave us a lot of strength. It didn't just give strength to others, it gave strength to us as well. So it was actually, everything's meant for, meant for what happens. Everything's done for a reason. Everything is good, even if we don't see it like that, but it is good. And we very much are strengthened by it, and we're very grateful to Hashem,
Well, I can tell you they have a very special wife, and, the two of you should see a double simcha from your remaining twin, as if you were getting enough simcha from the both of them.
Amen. Beautiful. Thank you.
Now, back to the album, because I'm going
to get too
emotional.
We never got to finish, Yossi.
Right.
No. We actually sat there. We sat there writing, and we took. I had a big file, like a big white file, like industrial sized, with about 300 or 400 pages in it, with different song lyric ideas.
Wow.
A lot of words, and we went through it together, Ellie and I, and we couldn't get anything. We literally got nowhere with it, and I then pulled out this little pocket book that Gabriella used under the chuppah, which was just over a year ago. Right. And she used it, and we turned to the back page, and there were these words, Hashkena Beinenu. And we sort of sat down, and we worked on them a little bit, and we changed them a little bit, and we mixed and matched where we felt was appropriate. And he literally started singing it. I actually have the original on my phone. I should forward it to you after this interview. But it was really powerful to sing. And I took it home, and I played it, and it was Gabriella who actually said to me, we need this song on the album. It was the only time she really got involved. Wow. And she said, we need this song on the album. It's just beautiful. And I played it at a few simchas beforehand, and I remember when people came over to me and they said, I recognize these words, where are they from? Or that was beautiful, and they really sort of felt a connection to it, and I sort of knew that needs to be on the album, enough to put it as track 2. So that's basically the story behind Hashkena.
That's beautiful. Eitan Freilich with us via telephone, talking about the release of his latest album, Yavo Shalom, Peace Will Come. Actually, Eitan, I just got a question here from Dovi from Los Angeles. What is up with the album cover? Why is he drumming?
It's a good question, and I'm very jealous because he's in Los Angeles, and I bet it's better weather than it is here right now.
It probably definitely is, yes.
It's a good question. As you said, earlier, and I feel like you were spot on. Everything about this album, we want it to be different and to stand out. And I don't know. I called Nechama from Nechama's Photography, and
Right.
I said to her, she's based in America, and I said to her, I really want to do something different. And she came up with this concept of the drum and a concept also with like newspapers behind me. And we did all these different concepts and they all sort of worked out in the end. And the idea was that we're drumming and marching towards peace and towards the Geula.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Now that I'm looking at it, it's like march, like a peace march kind of thing.
That's 100% it. And it was a very interesting photo shoot because it really annoyed the neighbors because we were drumming away for around 600 photos until we got the right one.
Wow. And you're not even smiling. You're not even smiling, Eitan. You look serious. Like this piece is serious.
Don't worry. You know me, Yossi. I wanted to smile, and
Right.
I have versions of me smiling, but they didn't pick that one. They didn't like it. They liked it when I'm being more serious,
Well, they say
So I
peace
settled for
is
having
a
smiling
serious.
ones on the back.
They say peace is a serious thing, right?
It is. But, I'm drumming for a serious message, so maybe that's it.
Definitely. Track 7, Eretz Yisrael. Eitan, what is it about Eretz Yisrael and you? Last album, you had the title track, Am Yisrael Chai, which was kind of Eretz Yisrael based. You have a lot of Hebrew-themed songs. When you shot your music video on Eretz Yisrael, you commented how much you like it. You're back in Eretz Yisrael a few months ago. What is it about Eretz Yisrael that every Eitan Freilich album has to have an Eretz Yisrael song? By Eli Schwab. Yes.
I love it. I mean, there's no feeling like touching down on an aeroplane and going outside and just feeling the air. There is something special about the air in Eretz Yisrael. There is nothing like it in the world. I can't see myself moving there soon, but all my brothers have moved there. And honestly, I absolutely love visiting them because it's a very special. I mean, you go to Yerushalayim and you go to the Kotel and you stand there and you daven, and there is nothing like it. There's no feeling I ever have closer to Hashem than when I'm there.
That's definitely true. It's been a while for me too, probably longer than you, but definitely something special.
It's closer for me. That's my excuse.
No, but I also feel, even you see all these secular people in the media going there, or presidents of China or whatnot. They don't. They don't understand it, but they still feel something. So it's
everyone. I feel like everyone feels something. Everyone, there is a sense of holiness there that is just it's not tangible,
right.
But it's just very, very, very special. Very, very special indeed.
So we were talking a few minutes ago about the song "Slow Down" and its unique beat. If "Slow Down" was strange to me, "Amen V'Amen" is probably more so. I mean, I love Eli Klein and Yitzi Berry, both as composers and arrangers, but. I was listening to like these big band songs in the 70s sound, throughout the album, and then the slow Heartsiger songs. And I got to this one, I was like, what did I just listen to? What's going on?
Yossi, do you reckon it's the first gospel Jewish song?
I don't know if it's the first. It's definitely the most definitive one, I would say.
It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
We sort of had to wake people up, in case they were sort of drifting off towards the middle of the album, then they had to be woken up with track 8, you see.
Definitely interesting message. Baruch Hashem Lekei Yisrael, Ois and Neflois Levadai, who performs wonders. V'malik Kvodas Kol Haaretz, Amen V'Amen, and His glory will fill the entire earth. Amen V'Amen. Very, very unique arrangement, and this just shows, when people say an album is a journey, things you're going through, or you want different styles. You don't want the album to sound very one-noted. Put a song like this in, and it definitely doesn't.
No, for sure. You definitely mix it up. But the truth is, it has a lot of meaning. I mean, it has a tremendous amount of meaning, and we wanted the arrangement to reflect that. We wanted, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be a feel-good song, but it's also supposed to be, meaningful. And that's the idea of having the gospel sort of choir vibe, which is actually Eli and Yitzi, who were a pleasure to work with. That's them singing. And they originally sent me the song at the beginning, and it was a very plain, bland song.
Oh, really?
And we were speaking. Yeah, it was very a very, very, very simple, basic song.
Well, the song,
and we sent them
the song and its lyrics. When you listen to just that, it is very simple.
It is, exactly. And basically we were discussing the form and the arrangement and the type of vibe and sound we wanted to get out of it. And it sort of morphed into a more gospel-style song, which we actually enjoyed making a lot. And I enjoyed singing on that one a lot. I sung in America for that one. And it was very, very special to do. But you're right, it's something slightly different. But, we all need one different song in there.
Definitely. And then you go from 9 to 10, another Eli Klein Yitzi Berry's song, arranged by them and produced by them, and very, very different. This is like your classical.
Me'ez Hashem was produced by Sruli. Me'ez Hashem was one of them produced by Sruli.
Right.
He actually sent me the song, and I sort of fell in love with it straight away. And it's funny because I was at the Shiva last week, at the Shiva, and somebody who wasn't religious at all, he really, really wasn't religious. I knew him from maybe around 10 years ago from my primary school. I don't know what you call it there, but I was in school with him when I was very young. I mean, very young. I'm not very old now. But
No, you're not.
I was in school with him, and he came over to me and he said, "I absolutely love your album, but I love Me'ez Hashem." And for me, that really meant a tremendous amount because I know his journey, and for him to be listening to Me'ez Hashem, which is a beautiful song. It's the words Zeh Hayom Asa Hashem Nogir B'Nismech Chavo, are words we're going to be saying tomorrow morning in Shacharis. But it's also words that I hear very, very, very commonly at weddings. And I felt that it was a very important song and a very good song to choose for the album. But it meant a lot to me that this particular person really enjoyed listening to it so much. It obviously hit a nerve with him.
Yeah, no, everybody has some song that hits a nerve with them, and I'm glad to see that song hit a nerve with him. Eitan Freilich with us via telephone, wrapping up the interview about his latest album, Yavo Shalom. Track 11, you released as a standalone single, Haidais Lecha, produced by Sruli Meyer. Then a music video with our favorite comic, who I see has now since moved to New York City for the time being.
He has. A very special guy.
Are we going to see another music video from the
you never know.
British duo, as they call them?
No, yeah. Ashley is a very, very special man. We're very, very close. We're not close physically because he's in America now for quite a few months on his tour. But he's very, very funny. It was an absolute joke. And I can't tell you, at the funny moments filming that music video, it was unbelievable. But it's something I'll never forget. And you never know. We may do something again together. We've always spoken about it. And we never know. I love that song. It got such good feedback. And so I felt like it had to be on the album in some form or another.
So Eitan, now that we've finished going through his songs and we got a little bit of an inside track to what was going on and how you decided on these songs and how they came about and how the lyrics came about, what's next? I mean, the album's out. No music videos to date on the album. Again, it's only been a few weeks. When are we going to see a video, and what track will it actually be for?
It's a very good question. I can't answer you, definitely right now. But we have actually discussed 3 music videos.
Oh wow!
I don't know which ones will actually happen because that's what sort of happens. It starts with a discussion, and then what actually happens, I don't know. But 3 music videos. One of them was Shir Hashem, one of them was Ivdu, and one of them was Yavo Shalom. And they all have 3 skits written for it. But because of current circumstances, for that I've put it on hold. And we'll get there over the next year, in Yossi Hashem. Meanwhile, I've got a school's tour, which is for Hanukkah. So I go around to the UK.
I just saw you announce it. Eitan just posted on Facebook an hour ago. The Eitan Freilich Hanukkah Schools Tour, Monday the 3rd of December of Hasmonia High School for boys, Tuesday the 4th at the Rotten Jewish Primary School, Wednesday the 5th at Independent Jewish Day School, Thursday the 6th at Karen Primary School, and Friday the 7th at Paradise House Primary School. Looking forward to celebrating the miracle of Hanukkah. Wow. What are you doing? So are you coming with a musician or a whole band to each of the schools?
Yeah. We literally go with our band. Around the schools. And we're going to be playing songs from the new album, songs from the old album, songs from other people's albums. And we just do it. It's a very kosher fun, kosher entertainment, good fun for everyone. And we do it once a year. I mean, on that Sunday, I've got a wedding in Manchester, and then I come home on Monday to do it at one school, and then I got to go back to Manchester on Tuesday. And Manchester's like going from, well, actually, I don't know. It's like a 3 or 4 hour drive. I was going to say from LA to Las Vegas,
right?
But I mean, I don't know if anyone's done that, but I'm saying it's a decent drive.
No, definitely is. So, Eitan, all I want to say is that I'm enjoying the album. If you're doing those 3 music videos, those are probably the 3 songs I definitely would have picked. The 3 songs that I definitely want to see. I want to wish you and Gabrielle the best. Please send her regards from me, and
I will. Thank you.
We are definitely feeling for you, and we'll daven and do good deeds for both of your sons. One in memory and one in refuah shlema, and we can't wait to see more great things from you. We're going to play you out with Yavo Shalom because I think that's the best message right now. With what's going on, what's going on in your life and what's going on in the world at large. I don't know if you know, we had voting here in America yesterday, and just so many crazy stories across the world. From unfortunately car accidents in Israel and further devastation, and we just want to see Shalom.
May we only hear good news, Yossi. Only simple.
Amen. Thank you very much. Have an amazing week. A great Chodesh.
Thank you.